If you've been around the Bleach community for a good amount of time, you will know that one of the more controversial topics when it comes to power scaling in Bleach is Ceros Lightspeed. This very topic has been an igniter for many arguments and divisions in the scaling community, as no one seems to come to an agreement on the answer. Hello everyone, it's Khan, and in today's video I'll be going over this topic and giving my reasons as to why I think Ceros in Bleach are indeed Lightspeed and good to use for scaling. Now, of course I won't be saying all of my words are objective, because obviously it's not. I'm going to be looking at this topic, both arguments and contentions, with an open mind, and try to find an argument that I believe has the most probability. If this is your first time here or you're a returning viewer, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy content like this and want to see more in the future. Without further ado, let's hop into the video.
Ceros.
If you don't know anything about what Ceros are, they're simply Bleach versions of Dragon Ball Ki Blast, and are used by Menos, Hollows, and Arankars. Characters who use this attack can fire powerful beams with concentrated Ryoku or spiritual energy at the target enemy. The location of where this attack releases varies. A majority of the time Ceros are fired from the mouth, but characters like Arankars and Visors can fire Ceros on other parts of the body, such as the hand, finger, feet, etc. So what's the basis for Ceros being Lightspeed? What a majority of people use to argue this is the fact that Ceros in one of the Bleach data books are stated to be spiritual light. Therefore, it being light means they're Lightspeed based on what we know of light. And that's it. That's the end of the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It's like, nah. In Kefir World, there are multiple statements describing Ceros as light, and the quote from the novel it states, "He momentarily ignored Genjo and the others as he turned his back and unleashed Ceros with all his strength. Genjo and the others saw what was closing in on them. They dedicated all their efforts into avoiding it as well. There was light. It was a warped turn of power, a hollowed spiritual pressure within a bright stream of light." The way they describe Ceros is as light, with the difference being it is instilled with spiritual pressure and Ryoku. Not that it is condensed spiritual pressure that emits light, which would be very different and no basis for Ceros being Lightspeed. Additionally, Ichigo Domoe Ceros was called a blinding light that swallowed a part of the Kyokuku, and Kenpachi had forcefully dispersed this flash of light. Of course, people have problems with these statements alone, and over the years I've seen various contentions to this argument, such as spiritual light can't be Lightspeed, how can light have a force and cause a big booming explosion, etc. All these questions can easily be answered, but first I want to talk about my argument for Ceros being Lightspeed. Rather than basing my argument off a singular statement, I try to draw a consistency using various feats shown in the manga to provide a preponderance of evidence and likelihood for Ceros being Lightspeed. Something people have to realize is that there are other ways to get Bleach to Lightspeed without using Ceros, but it's something that can improve significantly if included. A word you're going to have to get used to in today's video is calcs, or calculations, which is something that is very underused when it comes to Bleach scaling. A calc, according to Verses by the Wiki, is a method of determining a statistic of a character in cases where it cannot be directly determined. Calcs are normally used to determine the speed or attack potency of a character by using scientific formulas and mathematical equations. In Bleach, the amount of times a character has blitzed a character from miles away, or a character has dodged an attack that was 1 millimeter away from their body is honestly crazy. I will only be going over a couple of calcs, with a majority of them being for seraphic scales on IG. The first calc is about Soul Society Ichgo blitzing Byakuya while in bankai. And this calc scales Byakuya speeds to back 2.5 to 7.8, but that's not the importance of the calc. The importance is that Ichigo perception blitzing Byakuya in this calc will put him 20 times above Byakuya's speed. If you use Negation feats, which I will talk to you about later, you can easily get this Ichigo to Lightspeed to 2 times Lightspeed. Moving on to the next calc in the same fight, Ichigo was able to repel Byakuyas Senbonzakura, which consists of 100 million petals. Keep in mind, for this calc, he has Byakuyas Senbonzakura speed at Mach 5 to 15.6, and for the low end, it assumes Ichigo swings his sword only 23 times. Obviously, he's swinging a lot more times than that, and the high end is 100 million times. So in the end, the calc ranges from Mach 4737.61 to 73,448 times the speed of light. Moving on to later in the manga, the next calc is about Ulquiorra blitzing Ichigo from a pillar in Huecamundo. At this point in time in the story, Ichigo can be scaled anywhere from 0.5 C to 1000 C and beyond that based on past calcs. By taking the height of the pillar Ulquiorra was standing on and the height of Ulquiorra himself, the distance between Ichigo and Ulquiorra, and the time frame, the speed Ulquiorra was moving based on the calc ranges from 46.5 C to a whopping 86,000 C. If you include the high end from the previous calc, you can get this blitz to 637 million C. If you don't know what C is essentially Lightspeed. There's also a calc from when Wonderweiss blitzed Ukitake that had Ukitake at only relativistic, which ended up putting Wonderweiss at 12.6 to 23.33 times the speed of light. There is so much calcs that I can go into, but you should understand the point by now. So I've gone through the calcs, but there's still much more ways you can get Bleach characters to Lightspeed. Well, let me just start off with the Negation feats. If you don't know anything about the Nagashkion, they're essentially beams from metals used to rescue Aizen, Gen, Tosin, and other characters. When someone is engulfed in these beams, they're completely separated from the outside dimension and are impossible to harm and be interacted with. The importance of the Nagashkion is the fact that they're stated by the head captain Yamamoto to be light around 3 times, and also stated in the Bleach book to be beams of light, and are described as light 3 other times as well. Characters like Shuhei, who is a fodder lieutenant, Yoruichi Silifon both dodge this light, which has been calculated anywhere from 5% to 10% the speed of light. Now, base Soul Society Ichigo could casually blitz these lieutenant level characters while in base, and gets a 5 to 10 time boost in speed due to his bankai, and gets even more faster after hollow fly. So this Ichigo based on the Nagashkion would be Lightspeed. It gets drastically faster throughout the manga. There's also Arenero, a fodder spotter that was able to dodge sunlight, and the Australian light argument, plus Lily being the physical embodiment of light, which Nanao could comprehend. So clearly there is a variety of ways to get Bleach to Lightspeed. Now let me tell you what the entire point of me listing these multiple ways are, which is my main argument for why I think Ceros are at Lightspeed. If you don't want to take the various statements of Ceros being described as light for it being light speed, that's fine. But characters in Bleach being able to reach these light speed to FTL to massively faster than light speeds in calcs and other scenarios should set a likelihood that Ceros are indeed light speed, or else they would be irrelevant to characters, especially into the later arcs like Amphion World. They can move at these light speeds and it wouldn't be able to attack them at all. Of course, there are attacks like Candace arrows, which are stated to move at lightning speeds, so let's talk about it because I know people will bring it up. Whenever we've seen Candace fire her arrows, they are seen as fodder and slow attacks that are looked down upon and are brushed off quite easily. For example, when Candace fires an arrow at Ichigo Kurosaki, he literally stands there and tanks the attack, and after the electricity subdues, Ichigo is literally standing there and smiling like a real ass nigga. And then Candace, Lilato, Giselle, and Mendius all fire their arrows at Ichigo, and he casually swipes the arrows and throws the Fem Raiders into a nearby building. That was calculated sub-relativistic, by the way. Even in Amphion World, Candace tried to catch Genjo off guard with her lightning arrow, but he casually swipes it away with a sword. And then Gerkyo, who was watching the attack happen, was like, lightning is far from the speed of light, but the speed is trivial to the flow of time. And he was just rambling and shit. But basically he was saying lightning is slow shit. You know, it's slow. That's slow ass attack. Basically, she then attacks Genjo with her electrocution attack, which was stated to surpass the power of lightning and tear through space, but that gets casually handled by the Fullbringers anyway. I could really end the video right here. I feel I've gotten my point across, but I will talk about contentions with this statement alone, like I said I would. So, why do Ceros have mass density con? Well, like in the statement I mentioned earlier in Amphion World, Ceros are light with spiritual energy within the light, so its density doesn't come from the fact that it's light, rather the fact that it has spiritual energy that is implemented in the light, which is why when a Grand Ray Ceros is released, it tears through the existence of space and time itself, because that's what would happen if such high density were to move at those types of speeds. It's also why Ceros diffract off other spiritual objects such as Zanpakutos or Igetsuga Tensho and other Ceros. And another thing I want to mention is that Bleach characters could simply just have light manipulation. Their attacks like the 6 Rod Light Restraint, Kisuke firing bullets of light, Kenpachi's fighting a nigga whose Zanpakuto is literally the embodiment of light and has the ability to refract and manipulate light particles, Ichigo becoming the sun god and manipulating sunlight. Wait, that's a game, my fault. There's literally a spell called Kyoko, which deadass translates to bent light. It's used to hide the user by bending light, making them invisible, and their reactions concealed, and Shinji just casually manipulates it like it's a fucking curry or something. The reason why I bring this up is just in case some dummy says, oh, why can Ceros move like that? Light isn't supposed to move like that, Well, what now? I've already gone over my argument. Most people nowadays agree Bleach characters are at least in the FTL speeds, and Ceros being fast enough to be able to attack these on-guard characters should make it more likely that Ceros are at least like speed. Whether other Ceros can be amped in speed and the speed differentiates is up to you to decide, and what you do with this information is up to you as well. You can argue that Substitute Shinigami Arc Ichigo was able to react to a Cero from a Menace Grande, which I've seen calc from sub-relativistic to relativistic. You can add Blitz multipliers, the Gentai Kaijo multiplier, even more Blitz multipliers, Bankai multipliers, Holification multipliers, even more Blitz multipliers, Resurrection multipliers, Vasto Lorde multipliers, etc, etc. So the possibilities are endless. If you want, I can make a specific video on where I skill Bleach in terms of speed, and that should be it for the video. Oh, and whether or not Ceros are photonic doesn't really matter in this argument. Ceros could be photonic with Raryoku instilled into Photon, but whether it is or isn't doesn't inherently change the base of the argument, and it's not a pragmatic necessity. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and also share it around as well. Whether or not you agree or disagree, feel free to let your opinion be known, as long as you don't troll and act like an uncivilized person. Peace out.
but you know my body. Pull up to the lobby, but we skip the talking. Then get to the action, cause I'm about that action. And I'm on my back end. I